All right, what's going on, y'all? Just got done with the morning run here. So just the other day, I was approached by a guy trying to get started running, a pretty big guy. And he said he'd started many times before, essentially gets a few weeks in, and then quits. And this is something that I've seen happen with so many people. One, it has to do with running technique, but I've seen this happen with bodybuilders. I've seen this with people trying to lose weight. There's a reason why you have people that it just seems like they can accomplish these huge goals with no problem. And then you've got other people that it seems like even really small, especially fitness goals, is so hard. And there's a reason why this is. I've seen with so many clients over the last few years, and including myself, I've seen why it seems like it's so easy for some people to do these huge challenges like running an ultra or doing a bodybuilding show, something like that. And then for others, it just seems so hard. I've seen some guys that, it seems like they have all the natural talent in the world, super athletic. They'll have a big goal and they'll start out incredibly strong. And, they'll never end up making it to that big race or that accomplishing that big fitness goal. And then I've had other people that you would have never have assumed that they'd be able to do anything really extraordinary fitness wise. And I've had guys go from couch to 50K in a few months. I've had others that, one guy was well over 360 pounds, morbidly obese, and dropped over 50 pounds in just a few months. So there's a reason why for some people it just seems like they can just keep having win after win after win and accomplishing these huge physical goals, and then others don't. So the two things it really comes down to is discipline and confidence. Now, unfortunately for most people starting out, you're lacking in most of those things. Even the guys that you see do these 100-mile races or have an insane bodybuilding physique on stage and never seem to cheat on their diet, anything like that. Most of those people never started out with that discipline, that confidence either. It's been something they've had to build up over time. So this is a question I've been asked frequently over the last several years of, how do you get that momentum rolling in the beginning? And that's what you do need. You need that momentum. So what you're lacking in the beginning, you're lacking, having those habits in your place, you're lacking the momentum, and you're lacking the confidence. So to start building the discipline, which is going to play into all of that, this is where I recommend for people starting out, have small wins. These small wins are going to very quickly lead to big wins. And these small wins can be extremely small, and I recommend them to be extremely small in the beginning. So usually when you're getting started out and you've got, some big physical goal that you're wanting to do, say it's running your first half marathon, ultra, you're trying to do your first bodybuilding prep and commit to that diet and that lifestyle to get on bodybuilding stage, or you're trying to drop a ton of weight. No matter what, these small wins, this is going to very quickly lead you to having those big fitness accomplishments. So what you essentially want to do when you're going ahead and having these big goals, a lot of times you're willing to make some more positive changes in your life. Most of the time when people have come to me and they've got, a big race they're trying to accomplish, they're trying to do a bodybuilding show, usually they're more pliable into making more positive lifestyle changes. This is where a lot of people would say start small and only focus on one thing at a time. I used to believe that to some extent, but I do think taking advantage of these times where you're a little bit more pliable and more willing to make some positive changes in your life. So that's where these small wins come in. So let's say you've got this big fitness, physical accomplishment that you're trying to achieve. During this time, say you want to go ahead and start also meditating at the same time. You don't want to go ahead and just jump into meditating and doing, say, 20 minutes a day. A lot of times for people, you're not going to have that habit in place. It's going to be boring, all of that, in a week, 2 weeks, you're just going to fall off and quit. What I recommend is now meditating 5 minutes every day, making it an absolute non-negotiable part of your day, that no matter what, you are not going to go to bed until you have meditated for those 5 minutes every day. You're going to do the same thing with whatever's on your training plan. So, if you're trying to run a half marathon, all of that, you're going to also be doing that with your training. But these small wins, just accomplishing that 5 minutes of you meditating every day, is doing two things. One, it's a small win. It's a win that that day you set out and you did what you set out to accomplish. So you've got a small win there that's building confidence. Two, it's a little bit of a dopamine hit. Same thing, you've got that small win, it's a little bit of a dopamine hit. But then three, this is now building the habit in place. So you do that for 30 days. Now you've got a fairly set in habit. You do that for 60 days. It's now even more set in. And then you can start adding to it from there. So taking the meditation as an example, let's say the first 30 days you lock that in, you do 5 minutes. Now the second month you can do 10 minutes. It's going to work the same thing with literally everything else in your life. So All these positive different things in your life, whether it be meditating, whether it be your specific training, whether it be nailing your diet 100%, all of these are little small wins that you're going to accumulate, and then they turn into that big win. Now you've got, the confidence in place that you're having all these small wins. These small wins build up that small amount of confidence that along the way you're going to have bigger milestones, whether that's, running a 5K on the way to the half marathon, a marathon, whether it's perfect check-ins along the way for bodybuilding, whether it's a certain amount of, like, let's say you're trying to lose 50 pounds, you lose your first 20 pounds, you're going to have milestones along the way that are a little bit bigger wins, and they only reinforce this confidence. All along the way now, you're building up those habits and you're building up discipline. You're building up that discipline that now you've got these things on your daily schedule that are non-negotiable. So this is then going to lead to hitting that first big physical challenge. You go ahead and build these small wins. The small wins will lead into medium wins, and the medium wins lead into you accomplishing that big goal. Now that big goal, this is when the great confidence starts building up. This is where that confidence that you really believe you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, that's going to come with you doing bigger and bigger and bigger challenges and more of them. And then that's where that just extreme confidence that you see the guys that you look up to, that just seems like they can just keep accomplishing anything. That's how they've got it. It's essentially just win after win after win in doing what they set their mind out to. So you go ahead and you do your first half marathon. Now you build up to a marathon. You've got even more confidence. Then you do a 50 miler or 100 miler, and it all builds into the same thing. You just keep building to where you have that kind of unwavering confidence and that unwavering discipline. Once you've got the two of unwavering confidence and discipline, now you're completely unstoppable. Now, no matter what goal you set, now you're going to go ahead and set yourself up for accomplishing that. But the big point here is the biggest thing that's going to give you the best bang for your buck in the short term and go ahead and allow you to set in the right day-to-day routines for you to actually accomplish those goals are going to be those small wins. They can be super small to where it seems like nothing, but I'm telling you, I have done this personally within myself, and I've seen this work with so many people, that you stacking up those small wins every single day and every single week will quickly lead to those bigger and bigger and bigger wins. And now you've got that discipline and that confidence locked in. So take the first 30 days or 60 days of you trying to accomplish this big goal and really, really, really have it locked in as a non-negotiable. This is where you're going to need to feed off of any bit of that motivation you do have to lock in those habits and that discipline. And once you've got that, then you're golden. Then it's just going ahead and feeding that more and more and more, and then making sure you don't lose it, because you can lose it over time. But as long as you keep feeding it, it just keeps building and building and building. But this is a kind of a short little talk I want to give you all on how to kind of accomplish big goals and then how to get started if you're starting from scratch. This is a question I got asked the other day, a question I've been asked a few times. So I hope this helped. If you have out there, if you did, please go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, leave any comments or questions down below. Be happy, be positive, be powerful, and have a great rest of your day.